The good thing is my patients are stable. Woo!
Why are birds flying into the window?
Yes, I don't want judgment.
Ridiculous, and that they wouldn't say to a man.
I might be in the CPR line today, guys.
I was feeling horrible. The hardest rotation I've ever done.
Oh my God, am I okay?
Good morning. My name is Lauren. If you are new here, if you're not new, then welcome back. I am a fourth-year medical student. I'm on my way in. It's Friday. Woo! Happy Friday. And it is my last day in the ICU, which I can't describe how happy I am about that. Let me like look you in the eye for a second. Hi. As far as what my patients have, just kidding, sorry, it's really bright. Laser eye surgery. My patient that I've had for a long time, they were like a heart transplant eval, and they had all of these complications because they had an impella in, and the impella caused all these complications from where the impella was placed. And then they had to have all these vascular surgeries on their legs, and now they are in the ICU with a direct impella in, which I'll explain what an impella is in a second. They're waiting for an LVAD. So an impella and an LVAD both help your heart function. Specifically, they help your left ventricle pump blood, and the left ventricle is the ventricle that supplies blood to the entire body. An LVAD literally stands for left ventricular assist device. And an impella is like the same thing, except an impella is temporary, like you're hooked up to a little machine that you can change the settings of the impella on, and then an LVAD is durable or long-term, and you can, from what I understand, like go live your life if you have an LVAD in. But an LVAD is like a major surgery. It's a cardiothoracic surgery, and because my patient had all of these vascular surgeries, they're still recovering from that, and they're not ready to have an LVAD yet. So they're not a candidate yet. It's possible they could never be a candidate, but you know, we are optimistic in this house, and we hope that they will be eventually. Unfortunately, I won't see that through since this is my last day, but I will give them my best wishes when I say bye to them today. My other patient who came in yesterday had some sort of cardiac event. It's unclear if it was like a STEMI or what really happened, but they have a lot of blockages in the arteries that supply the blood to their heart. We're trying to figure out if they should get a CABG. CABG is coronary artery bypass graft. Your heart is supplied by blood vessels. The blood vessels are like little tubes, and when people have coronary artery disease or like a myocardial infarction, heart attack, usually it's because they have a blockage in their arteries, and the blockage is from like plaque, cholesterol, all of that. If they have a blockage, depending on how long the blockage has been there and how easy it is to kind of like get through the blockage and like put a stent in or what, then you might have to do a coronary artery bypass, which is when you take an artery from somewhere else, and if the blockage is like this in the tube, you attach the artery from somewhere else in front of the blockage and behind the blockage, and then the blood can literally bypass around the blockage. So we're trying to see if this patient is gonna be a candidate for that, but it seems like they had a heart attack a long time ago and they weren't aware, so they have a lot of scar tissue in their heart. And if you have scar tissue in your heart, or really anywhere, if you resupply blood to that area, it's not gonna get rid of the scar, it's still gonna be like dead tissue. So, but the people who are deciding that are the cardiothoracic surgeons, and the surgeons were discussing yesterday, so we'll see if they made a decision today. But yeah, it's my last day. Let's hope that it's a nice boring day in the ICU today. And the great thing is, knock on wood, there's no wood in here. I don't really know what's made of wood in cars anymore. The good thing is my patients are stable, woo! And they weren't in the past, so, you know, it should be a pretty okay day, patient-wise. We'll talk about studying after. I'm gonna down my breakfast, which is literally, I was so much better when this rotation first started, like this much left of this naked juice. Okay. Oh, another thing about this week that's been different is my current ICU team, the residents don't let us go home after rounds. So that's affected my studying in a way, which I'll talk about later, but yeah, expect a full day. Maybe they'll let us go home after rounds today since it's Friday and it's our last day, but I kind of like I don't have that expectation any longer, so we'll see what happens. Let's go. I forgot to use a lint roller on these scrubs because they stick to Vaca's hair.
Lunchtime, it's 12 o'clock. They told us basically that we have to intubate someone, not my patient, but someone on the list. They're doing horribly respiratory wise, breathing wise. And they told us that they're going to basically like call us back when they intubate this person, because when you intubate someone, their blood pressure could drop. And for this particular patient, because their blood pressure might drop when we intubate them, they might code. So we had someone code like 2 days ago. It's just codes left and right. So I thought I was gonna be home free today, but I might be in the CPR line today, guys. Don't know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna eat now. See you later. Patient is about to be intubated, so the other student and I are going to go back. So you and I should be human beings and not just pieces in a past that we can't read. Don't you want to go outside?
It is 4:07. And I am finally dismissed. Ask me if I did one thing since after lunch. The answer is no. Me and the other student just sat there. But I did do UWorld on my phone, and I'm up to like question, I think like 14 out of 20, so that's great. I was productive. Personally, the patient that we intubated, their blood pressure was falling really low, but they were given pressors, which I talked about what those were in the last video, when everything was happening, and it increased their blood pressure, and they kept having to get more pressors, but they never coded. And then all of a sudden there was another patient who was doing pretty well this morning, and we were going to transfer them out of the ICU. They have been having a lot of respiratory issues, and they are getting intubated probably right now, unfortunately, for the third time this admission, which is not good. Like, you can't do it again. And that's just because the trauma that happens when you're sticking a tube down someone's throat and into their trachea and everything. If you keep doing it and there's like a lot of trauma, then the tissue can kind of like thicken, and it can cause issues if your airways are like kind of have like a thickened like ring type of thing. So you can't just like keep intubating someone. But this person, they came in, I think they had like cardiac arrest or something. They came in, were intubated immediately. They were doing better. They got extubated. They got moved out of the ICU onto the normal floor. Then a couple days later, maybe 2, worsened respiratory status, came back to the ICU, intubated. They've been with us for some time, like, I don't know, a week. We're like, we're gonna send you back out, you're doing great. And today, once again, respiratory status is going downhill, and they're gonna get intubated again. It's so horrible. What do I have to say about the cardiac ICU? What are my final thoughts? Great experience, I learned so much. Definitely emotionally the hardest rotation I've ever done, and probably will do all of med school. I don't think anything else on my current 4th year schedule is gonna be this hard emotionally. I wanted to also say, and I was like, should I say this? I try to be very like neutral on my channel, Not that I have some crazy following and people are gonna cancel me, but I just like don't want to say anything controversial, but honestly I just feel like I should say this, and this message is for the girls. It's for the fellow women who watch me. This is your sign to, if there is any person, and in this specific type of example I'm talking about a man, if there's a man in any space in your life, especially in the workplace, who makes you feel uncomfortable and says little belittling things to you because you're a woman, don't take that. And if you feel as a woman, which I often do, like I have to be polite and always respond and smile and do all this stuff, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. You need to protect your peace. I'm basically giving myself a pep talk. I'm literally staring at myself in the viewfinder. You need to protect your peace. You don't owe anything to anyone, especially someone who makes you uncomfortable. And you don't have to respond to someone or smile to someone or, I don't know, be like work friends with someone if they are just constantly saying things that are so ridiculous and that they wouldn't say to a man. That's it. In the cardiac ICU, I'm not at all speaking about an attending or a resident or any sort of doctor, but there was a worker in the cardiac ICU that it always starts with good morning, and I'm always like, good morning, because that's the nice response. And then things just get weird, and then comments start being made, and it's just ridiculous. And I'm talking about the comments that are like, I'm literally like, normal. Is there something wrong with you? You need to smile more, blah, blah, blah. Like those comments, I told myself last night, I gave myself a pep talk. I'm like, this is my last day. Today is the day. I'm not dignifying anything with a response because it's just getting ridiculous. Comments are being made while I'm on rounds, in front of my attending, in front of my team. Today, I'm not responding, This morning, person's like, good morning, in general, and then they're like, good morning, Lauren. No response, no response. And then I'm like sitting there minding my own business. I was focused because I'm like doing UWorld on my phone. And they're like, you good? I don't respond. They're walking by behind me. I'm facing a computer. You good? Don't respond. And they're like, Lauren, are you good? I'm fine. You just look upset. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you don't look happy. I'm like, I'm so happy. They're like, what? What'd you say? I'm just like, leave me alone. Stop telling me to smile more. Stop telling me I'm not happy. Like, oh my God. I just wanted to say that now because I want to like put the CICU rotation to bed, and like that's done, and like that experience is done. It's not going to drag into my Friday, but I've been like complaining about this person to my boyfriend all week, and I'm just so over men like that. Like, I'm really so over it. And PSA to the men, this is like, I don't know if I'm being aggressive, but I'm very passionate about this because I deal with this all the time as a woman, and especially in spaces in the medical field where you're surrounded by so many people at all times. PSA to the men, if you are a man, no offense to the men who don't do this, I like y'all, you're great. If you are a man who in 2024 is still going up to women who are sitting there minding their own business, working as hard as everyone else, and you're telling her to smile more, please take a 3-year hiatus. I don't know if I'm gonna include this. I feel like I'm being too aggressive. Take a 3-year hiatus from talking to women and rethink things, reflect, and think about your goal in saying that to people, because it's just so rude. 2 days ago, a code is called, which means a man has died, they're dead. And a code is called, which means we're trying to bring them back to life, right? Very serious, very tense situation. And it was one of our patients, but we received the patient 5 minutes before they coded. Like, it was expected that they were gonna code, which is why they were sent to the ICU. Anyways, person has coded, person is dead. We're trying to revive them. And I'm standing in the room, like towards the entrance of the room, with the other medical student. We're assessing the situation. The patient just got there. It was kind of expected this was gonna happen. It was also expected, like, the code is not gonna be successful in bringing them back. So we're trying to figure out what we should do. And like CPR line starts forming, and this person comes over to me, sees me standing there. Again, person is dead inside this room, comes over to me and they're like, Get in line, Lauren. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Have some respect. A person has died. We're trying to save them. Just because I'm a woman, I'm not afraid to do CPR. I've done it already. I've already done it. I've been through a lot this rotation. I've done it. I've done it all. Not at all, but I've already done it. Nobody's afraid. It's just like so ridiculous. They constantly are trying to like stand next to me and they're staring at me, and it's just like, it makes me so uncomfortable. And then they make these little comments and I'm like, what is your goal? Do you think after these comments I'm gonna be like, you're so cool. You're right, I was so afraid. Oh my God, as a woman, I'm like scared all the time. Thanks so much for acknowledging that in front of this room full of people trying to save this man's life. I was so terrified to do CPR. God, it's just that being a woman thing. Whew. And I'm not gonna go through every interaction I've had with this person because there's no point. But I think that interaction alone is enough. It's enough. It's enough. And luckily, that is a cardiac ICU worker, so I should never have to cross paths with him again. Thank God. And it's never a young man, is it? No, it's not. It's always a 40 to 50-year-old man. Please, leave me alone. Okay. Anyways, happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday. I know I'm in my car. You might be thinking, wow, Lauren, you're going home? No, girl, I'm not. I have to study. No, I'm not going home. I came in here to get my hoodie that I've been keeping in my car because it's so cold in all these buildings. And I just thought I would like sit here for a second and like debrief and like take a breath, and then I can go in and study. This week was a little harder studying because we've been staying like basically full days, which is fine normally, but I wasn't expecting that because I hadn't had to do that this entire rotation. And I was gonna ramp up studying even more this week, and I ramped up a little bit last week, and I was gonna ramp it up more this week, but I couldn't do that because of everything happening. I've reached the point where I'm miserable studying, and I think if you studied for a huge exam, like step 2, step 1, the MCAT, the LSAT, the bar, any huge exam, or anything out of those type of like spaces, any huge exam that you've studied for weeks and weeks or months, like everyone reaches this point where they just feel miserable. They feel like they've been doing this forever. They feel like it'll never end, and that's the point that I've reached. And unfortunately, I'm only gonna start studying more because I'm studying full-time starting Sunday. So yeah, yesterday I was just feeling really, really miserable. Today I'm like feeling very positive because I'm happy I finished my first rotation of 4th year, and I only have 6 rotations this year because I have 4 months total of vacation. And did I use them all? I did. I did. So I only have 6 rotations total, and I have now finished 1, and I only have 5 left. So that's really exciting, and I'm really happy. And it's Friday, and I get to see my boyfriend today and his cat, and we get to like all be together and like watch movies and just have like really nice time. I get the day off tomorrow because I don't study on Saturday. So like I am very, very happy, but we'll see how I'm feeling after I start studying because it's draining my soul, unfortunately, but I'm trying to stay positive. Okay, all right, I've talked a lot. Should I keep the other clip in? Listen, like I don't want to ask for validation, but if I keep the clip in, I want to keep the clip in. If I keep the clip in, I'm gonna feel self-conscious that I kept something in like that. So if you see the clip and you agree with the clip, just like tell me like, you're right. I've dealt with the same thing. Your experience is valid. You're not alone. Just like, and good on you for keeping the clip in, okay? Just like tell me it was okay to keep it in, because I just don't want to come off. But then like, is that my womanly thoughts of how we were raised in a society of like, I'm not allowed to have a strong opinion because I'm a woman? Is it all just the same issue of why I don't want to keep it in? I don't know. Okay. No more. I'm gonna go study. I'm gonna sit in my car for a good 15, I'm not gonna lie to you, on my phone. And then I'm gonna study. I have a bunch of Anki cards to do. I'm almost done my world. And I think that's all I'm gonna do. And then I have to rush home, clean a little bit, pack myself up, pack Vaco up, and then go to the weekend home. I'm finally going back in to study from my car. Was I in my car way too long? Yes. So long that I can't tell you how long? Yes. I don't want judgment.
I ain't got a single damn left in me. I don't know what is happening. I just sat down. Why are birds flying into the window? Like this big window. Why are they suddenly flying into the window? Oh, now they've flown away. Isn't that a bad omen? Oh my god, am I okay? That's like something from a movie. They just like... I'm stressing. I know I probably should've mentioned I gotta be someone you can't forget. I know you're still upset. Can't keep me here next.
You came in my life like a whirlwind. I think of you leaving, the world ends. I like to think that I'm a pretty good lover, but I'm not good at having girlfriends. I'm not a player, I just crush a lot, but you be thinking that I crush a lot. And indie darling on the verge of pop. Don't assume who I'm with, that'll hurt your heart. I don't wanna be while you bleed. Tourniquet, I can see that you're in need. Learning that even if you always keep it 100, there's no such thing as guarantees. People change like seasons, many reasons I suppose. Heartburning to the core one day, on the next link you froze. You do not have to explain, you are not the one that I blame. We were fighting in front of the Dover Street over something oh so lame. Shouldn't pretend.
It is so dark and so late. It's 8:50 and this building is closing in 10 minutes, but we finished studying. I'm so happy that that's over. I was feeling horrible by the time I finished your world. Oh, some light. I'm gonna go home now, happily, and not see Temple for like at least a week. We need a break for at least a week.
I'm closing the door.